How do we drum up dozens of qualified plumbing leads through an Instagram account without running any ads? If you have an Instagram account that's for a professional service and it only services a local area, how do we get the best candidates for your service to come through the door and be really warm as soon as they follow? How do we do this? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how we can go about accomplishing this strategy in two different ways. The first way is a free method that I've got a link down for below in case you wanted to apply this in your business. It's in a document so you can quickly delegate it to somebody on your team. Or if you want to go a little bit further, we have a way to pay to accelerate that strategy and spend some money on some software, but get it done at a much wider scale. So let's go through this process. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jackson Parker, and I am the founder of Quantum Horizons, which builds a variety of different software tools for agencies and small businesses. And so in today's video, we're going to be showcasing a company called Prycore Technologies, which is a Seattle-based plumbing company. And so we're going to go through the entire process of implementing this strategy with them. So before we get started, let's also understand what kind of candidate we need to find in order to bring them in as a prospect. Because plumbing is generally an emergency event service, it's routine in some cases, but generally something has occurred to where somebody needs plumbing. They want it resolved right away. It's like emergency dental, right? When somebody has a problem with a toothache or a plumbing problem, they want it solved right away. And for that reason, we're going to be doing awareness to interception for our Instagram automation strategy. So we're not really trying to sell a wow factor or any really like brand building strategy here. We are trying to make sure that we are in the customer's head at the time that they have a problem. That way we can capture their attention when it counts the most. So if we activate 3 simple automations on this plumbing page, we will create a flow of dozens of qualified leads every week. And so before we begin, let's establish who we are one more time. My name is Jackson Parker. I'm the founder of Quantum Horizons, and we build this tool called StoryRadar. And StoryRadar is very good at doing one thing specifically, which is magnetizing the right audience for any Instagram page. That means if you've got a local business, a digital product service offering, or a small brand or an influencer page, we guarantee we can find you the exact audience that you're looking for. So there are 2 ways that we're going to look at this approach for today's strategy. And the first is a free strategy, like I said earlier, which is documented in that one-page guide specifically for professional services on Instagram. You can get it for free down below. Now, the second is a high-velocity version of that same strategy, but it's done through our paid software, which is StoryRadar. So in today's objective, we're going to be talking with the co-founder of Prycore, which is Wiley Cortez. And Prycore, remember, it services a very specific area like most local pro services. It services Seattle, and they really don't want to leave Seattle. Like, they don't want their trucks going all the way up north or anything like that. So we need them to have the most targeted leads possible for their business. And so our team is going to automate a flow to create constant cycles of awareness and then interception that lead to conversion when it counts the most. So again, and this is the page that we're looking at. They've got a great page. Like, that's the first thing I want to say. They've got a great page. At 1,400 followers, though, we could do some expansion in terms of their network here, right? And that's important. We want them to be top of mind with Seattle residents when their plumbing needs come into surface. So before I get Wiley on this call, I want to describe what local businesses are currently facing on Instagram. And if you own a local business, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Because most local business pages elect into Instagram's business account options, right, I'm not going to tell you not to do this because it helps you get better insight, tools, and abilities as a company. But I do think it's important to be aware. Once this option is on and you've told Instagram that you're a business, they see you as a higher LTV potential, which means, and I don't care what Meta's official stance is on this, Instagram absolutely manipulates the reach of those accounts. Period. Okay. So if you've got a local business, the second that you tell them, and this can be done without electing into this, if they detect through what your captions are, what your bio is, and how you're posting that you're a local business, same thing will apply, right? So they can do this a few different ways because this is how they see it. Why would we do your marketing for free? Makes sense, right? Why would they do it for free? So we have a few ways that we can approach this reality. Option A, which is what most businesses do, is the white flag mentality, right? Well, I don't know how to run ads and I don't have the money to run them, so I'm just going to live with the result. This paralyzes a lot of businesses, and it makes sense, right? Like, I don't blame you. Like, if that's you, I don't blame you. Why? Dude, you do what you do best, which means if you run a landscaping business, a roofing business, a local restaurant, a plumbing company, you know your craft. You're not necessarily trained in how to go hop on the computer and go learn a Facebook ads course. Facebook ads are changing every single year. And for you to pick up the grindstone on that, as well as running your on the ground teams, servicing your clients and doing the best job you can, that's a big task to take on. Now, option B is what most business owners do if they're going to elect into the other option, which is running the paid ads, right? And that involves the $1 in and X dollar out game. And they're cool with that. And I don't have a problem with that. Like, we run paid ads for all kinds of stuff. But option C, which is not well known, is your alternative marketing option, okay? And so C in this case stands for cheat a little. It's like the Disney Fast Pass, because it's here where we get to play the game of the gray hat strategy, right? So today we're going to be adding a tool, which is Gray Hat, to Prycor's account, which will automatically watch the stories of thousands of Seattle residents. And that tool, like I said earlier, is called Story Radar. So Prycor will appear at the top of the story views 2,000 to 22,000 times per day of users that live in Seattle. Now, in this case, it's probably going to be a little bit lower because our goal here is awareness to interception. We're not really focused on growth. We're going to be retargeting the same users many times per month. And because, like I said earlier, plumbing services aren't always needed or even a thought in a prospect's head until something happens, the perpetual awareness campaign will reach 50 to 200,000 Seattle residents 2 to 3 times per month on Instagram. And so you've probably heard this saying, right? It takes 7 times for a customer to see your brand before they buy. We're just going to apply that same level of awareness here, just so that way they know Prycor at the top of their head. And so when they get a plumbing incident, we want Prycor to be one of their first options, if not the very first one. Now, when somebody follows Prycor, our strategy is going to have a presumption that they are now in need of plumbing services. That's why they're following, okay? Because why else would you follow the page? Once that occurs, so Janet, from Seattle, right? She follows Prycor. We're going to send that person a welcome direct message. So she follows, she's going to get a DM. And we're going to go into what that DM is going to say in a second. In a moment, I'm going to have Wiley actually join us on the call so we can set up this strategy. But if you like what you're seeing here, I would encourage you to take one of 2 options here. The first is you can go and get the free version of this strategy. But if you're already like, okay, fuck it, I need to apply this right away because my Instagram isn't doing anything for me at the moment, then let's go ahead and book a call. Below that link, you're going to see the option to get this same strategy applied. Go click that link and book a call if you believe this is right for your business. Even if you don't work in plumbing, but you work in some other professional service, our company can help you and our team can set up this strategy for you in as little as 45 minutes. So we're very fast, very effective. It starts working within about 24 hours. So I'm going to get Wiley on the call, and then we're going to get started with the actual strategy itself. All right, so I got Wiley Cortez here, and he's the co-founder of Prycor. And so what we're looking at right now is the Story Radar dashboard. And Wiley, if you want to give an introduction to yourself here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Wiley Cortez, co-owner, co-founder of Prycor Technologies, along with some other different brands. But today we're going to be talking about Prycor.
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is the Story Radar dashboard. And so we're configuring the actual strategy that we're going to be using to get Prycor an inbound flow of consistent plumbing leads through Instagram. And so this is not a very common strategy that anybody's really using. It's more of a cheat to win method. And so, Wiley uses Story Radar for a few of his brands. Wiley, what brands are you currently using Story Radar for?
So a few of them right now, Make Moves Not Statements, my personal brand, which is Wiley Cortez. I run a couple of things through there, coaching programs, mentorship, speaker, and also my daughter, which is in the glam space. She does hair and makeup, and we're using it to her or for her, which has shown great results. She's been booked several times from people just engaging and finding out what she does and how she does it from Story Radar.
And so it's all organic, right? Like
organic.
we're not sending you anything fake, right?
Yeah, no, it's all organic. These are people that found her. She goes back and forth between LA or Seattle, and then coincidentally, and not coincidentally, it is people that she's liked or they've liked her photos or however they come across, but they end up working together. And it has happened at least a handful of times.
Cool. Well, we always like creating new business, and so that's exciting. So right now, what we've done, my team a little bit prior to our call here, they've scraped an enormous amount of Seattle residents. And so what we're doing, we're importing these accounts right now. And basically what this will do is it will map essentially the entire Seattle and basically like that central network of people. So if somebody knows of somebody that we're targeting here, it will be engaging with their profile. And so this is basically like an alternative to Facebook ads, because when you run a Facebook or Meta ad, it's doing this as well, but it's doing it at a smaller scale. And so, Wiley, have you ever run Meta ads before?
Have. And I've had a little bit of success, but mostly unsuccessful.
They're expensive, right?
They're expensive.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
And one of the big concerns that a lot of local businesses have, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is when we're running Meta ads for a local business, Meta isn't just sending you to everybody who lives in your city, right?
Right.
They like to limit it because in throttling it, they can make more money.
Right. They want you to continue to pay for more people to see what it is you're boosting or
100%. And so in this instance, right, the cool thing about Story Radar is the big cheat here is that we're only going to pay once in terms of what the actual dollar figure is for the cost, but the result will be continuously compounding. And so it will not throttle itself or limit itself to who it can reach. So if the maximum number of people it can reach is the entire city, it will do that over the course of a month. And then, of course, in the retargeting side of things, retargeting obviously costs a lot of money on Facebook. The alternative here is that it will continuously retarget without any further input. And so the targets that you're seeing here, right, our team does a lot of that for our clients, because right here, when this, we'll kind of cut it early here, but just to show you, this is how many individuals that we found to import, right? And we're going to be targeting the likers of those accounts, people who follow these accounts, and the people those accounts actually follow. So first things that we're going to do here is we're going to also enable a pro-grade algorithm and reverse looping. And so what those do is, a lot of people have like safety and concerns, right? Well, our AI will warm up the account to this process the same way you would with like Meta ads. You're going to have like that learning window at first. That's what that is. Now for story actions, typically if we're doing like a growth strategy, we're going to enable these first 5 options right here, which will tap on stickers and react to them. And in doing that, it'll send a push notification. But since our objective here is just to do awareness to interception, right? We just want people to see your page. And then when they're ready, we want them to follow, and then we send them the DM. All we're going to do is this system right here, watching stories and liking stories. Are there any questions so far, Wiley, about this?
No.
Cool. So we have a few different algorithms here, and the algorithm we're going to be using here is called the 1-to-1 plus M. And here's what it does. So it will like and watch a story every single time. So if it watches a story, it will like that same story. The story like limit is about 100 to 200 right now. If the limit is reached on likes, it will continue watching stories. So it can probably watch like a few thousand stories a day. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now for retargeting, this is kind of where I'm curious. We want to probably retarget most users 3 or 4 times a month. So here are our options. if we wanted to retarget very quickly, like let's say we were running like a drop for one of your clothing brands, we would want to retarget very
Mhm.
quickly. But in
Right.
this instance, I'd probably say we want to target maybe every 9 days. You want to go lower or higher on that?
I would think for this, for like you mentioned, the objective that we have here is a longer span. So I don't know, 15 days maybe.
Yeah, I
That
get
way
what you're
they're,
saying because we can
you know,
retarget them over several months, is what you're saying.
right. I mean, this is a long term
Yeah,
plan.
why don't we hit them over 21 days because we'll like their story as well, and that's a pretty big interaction.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so if we wanted to, we could enable, mass actions. We're going to skip that at the moment. And in terms of sending DM, we're not going to send any outbound DM. What we
Hmm.
really just want to do, we are going to add a country filter probably here.
This I've never done.
Yeah, we do this. This is where we get very specific. So we don't want anything else. So the only traffic that we're going to allow here is United States.
So, well, I have a question about that. So,
Yeah.
if one of the accounts that we follow or are liking has a, let's just say, foreigner,
Mm-hmm.
uh, an account from Canada or Mexico or Egypt or wherever, will it not like or see those stories based on that?
Yeah. Yep. So we use a lot of different data to determine where an account is based. The first is we're checking this right here, which is about this account. Now, if
Gotcha.
which is so when the account is interacting, it's going to those three dots and tapping that.
Gotcha.
Um, Now we do this without doing this call with your account. So we do this call from a different API. So it doesn't use your account to make this call. So it's very safe.
Gotcha.
But here's the disclaimer here, right? Which is why we don't use this for growth. We only use this for local business leads, is because it
Mm,
reduces the speed and increases the quality. So it's a huge drop in how many it will do.
oh,
So,
gotcha.
when most businesses come in, right, like you would be calling me off the hook if you were doing, 100 actions a day,
Yeah.
right? But it's working when you're seeing like 6 to 10K a day, right?
Right.
And so that's because we don't run any filters on your other accounts. Now, if we want to get really specific, right, filter by ID, this will actually, if we set the ID, and so every Instagram account has an ID based on when it was made. So if we don't
Mm,
want to ever interact with accounts made in the last year, we could set the ID to something like that, and it would basically skip all of the accounts that are new.
interesting.
We probably won't do that, but if we wanted to, we could. And let's say, one day you tell me you're like, dude, every single client I have is like a mom or a housewife. We would just go ahead and just skip every mail. But
Right.
in this
Right.
case, it's not accurate, right? Okay, so for activity time, it's already randomized, and this schedule will randomize every week. It's a new feature we have. I know you haven't seen this yet.
No, I haven't.
So to keep everything very safe right now with Instagram, we do 5 hours as the minimum per day and 17 hours as the maximum per day in terms of how often it's going to be using the tool. And so because today is Thursday that we're filming this and it's 6 p.m., I think where you're at, it's 9, 4,
Five. No, it's
5,
5 o'clock where
5
I'm at.
o'clock. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 5 o'clock. So 1700 hours. And so it will be running pretty much right out the gate. So I'm going to turn those off right here. And so the first window it's going to run is probably going to be around 10 p.m. tonight. Moving into
Mm,
Friday, we're going to just give it a really easy way in. And so it'll kick off really along Friday. And then it should be kind of moving full speed Saturday and Sunday, as you can see based on schedule here.
gotcha.
Now, all of this, as complicated as it looks, our team does all of this for everybody because it's very easy for us to get through this. Okay, do we want to track what sources are producing the highest results?
I'm not sure what that means.
So if we watch the stories of, for example, if we throw in keyword targets in a minute, which we'll do, if somebody has
Mhm.
liked Seattle Fish Market, right, and that's how we found them, and now they're following you, do we want to track that?
Um, I mean, I think it's a good idea to know where these leads and follows are coming from,
I agree. I think it would help because if we can get that data, it will help us do some better targeting in the future, especially when we
right?
go back for the optimization, like 45 days.
Hmm.
I am going to enable target quality tracking. We don't typically do that for your other pages, but in this case, I want to make sure that we remove anything that's not producing a result. So we'll enable that target
Right.
quality. Okay, and then we'll run a shadow ban check here in a second. Just for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the account active. And
Okay.
while it's getting set up here, and it's getting its first moments set up, we're going to go over here and get some keywords. So this is ChatGPT. This is how we get the keywords for the local based targeting, right?
Hmm.
So to find people in Seattle, right, we're going to be looking for authority figures and people engaging with those authorities. And authority figures are really just people posting. So we
Yeah.
do this. All right, so we get pretty specific on the prompt here. So we're going to ask, what are
Hmm.
300 keywords related to users posting in Seattle? And of course, we're looking for 1 to 3 word compound words. And so I'll show you what we do with this in just a moment. So the same way with like meta ads, right? That you would launch
Right.
a campaign for keywords. We're going to do that same thing. And so in the settings here, we have
Never seen this.
we got 4 different ways to target the keywords. So if we do post by keyword, that's going to get people who are posting with that keyword. And if they have a reel with that keyword, we'll get them as well. But not only that, we can get the likers of that reel and the likers of that post.
Wow.
So it's just like meta ads, because with a meta ad, right, you're hitting the keywords. The only difference is, right, the amount of people that we can get.
Right.
So we'll see how it turns out. Sometimes we have to make some adjustments to this list, but I think we should be good. We'll see how it pops up. We're gonna copy the list, and these will actually go in instantly instead of having to wait. So just like this, boom, done. It's in. And so what I'm doing right here, I'm splitting the list since we have 4 lists that we're going to be dividing that list into 4 different segments. This is what we do right here. So now we're going to split the list in half right here. And now we have all of those keywords. So now if we save, we open up the task, right here, you'll see, go down to targeting, we now have all of these keywords and all of those locations. So now the targeting is really pretty much done and refined. It doesn't have to be adjusted for probably 45 days. The last thing we want to do here is just the welcome DM. I think if we rotate these 3, I think this is a good start.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, cool. All right, so we're all good now. The account is running. This is all currently moving. So at this point, we're good. All we need to track now is just stats, and we'll come back to this in a few days, and we should see that it's at least starting to get some traction. And if not, it maybe has even already converted a lead. So we'll keep our eyes on it.
Cool. Awesome.
What do we think?
I'm excited, man. I'm excited to do to see what it's going to do.
Yeah. Well, I think it should. I think it'll drum up about 4 to a dozen like bookings a week.
Yeah, that's exciting, and it's exciting because with any of the other accounts we haven't done it like zeroed it in like this. It's much broader.
Mm-hmm.
This is very focused.
Yeah.
In a specific area, person, place, like everything. So yeah. I'm excited to see what it does.
I mean, these are the accounts I love because it really does work. When you do it like this, it really is like running meta ads.
Yeah.
But it's so much faster. Like with a meta ad, right? Yeah, it might take like a few hours to get approved. But here's the thing, right? The hiccups that come up with that is like, oh, your account is pending review. You've got an ad ban. Like you're spending too much.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, we never get hit with that shit. And for a local business that doesn't want to bang their head against the wall with meta ads, like this solves so many problems so quickly.
I love it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Cool. Yeah. Well, Wiley, I'm super thankful that you let us show what we're doing under the hood here with this account. And
absolutely, man.
Yeah, maybe we get on another one soon, and we'll show kind of what has occurred here. But if, of course, if you're watching this video and you have a local business, especially a local plumbing business, and you want to check out how we did this even further, we have a link down below. You can book a call with us. We can, of course, discuss how we can do this with your own page and start getting you the alternative to running meta ads. If you just want to get a free guide on how to accelerate your Instagram growth, if you're actually having no growth whatsoever, there's also a link to another document I made down below, which you can get for free. But we will see you in the next one.